Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible, one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the most amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out. This one is called On Purpose Woman, the complete holistic guide for spiritual entrepreneurs. Before I introduce the authors to you today, let me just say a huge thank you to Ginny Robertson. Ginny is the founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Network and magazine. And Ginny, you had a huge vision for this book. I know I bugged you for a long time about this, and you finally said yes, and I'm so happy that you did. You brought together a stellar group of expert authors to really speak into what it means to be a spiritual entrepreneur, and to do that purpose-driven. And thank you for everything that you've done to bring your community together and these beautiful authors together. I love you. I love everything that you're doing, and I'm so grateful and honored to be here doing this with you. So who do we have today? Dr. Carla Johnston is a practitioner and passionate advocate for those wishing to dynamically age and live a balanced life of nourishment. I have Gail Dixon with me. She's the founder of the Heart's Voice movement, where we're bringing people together to use the power of language and listening to heal the world. And Melissa Harris is an internationally published artist, author, and teacher with products such as original art, card decks, books, calendars, and more. And Reverend Mary Perry, Chief Angelic Officer of Wings Unfurled, offers healing and ways to develop your angel connections. Oh my goodness, ladies, thank you so much for being here. Dr. Carla Johnston, you are going to start the party today. Tell us about your chapter.
Yay! Well, good morning. So I'm chapter 14, and it is titled Cultivating an Aging Spirit, the Hidden Possibilities of Chronic Illness. And it was important for me to bring the voice of how unique health and even illness is, what's possible, how do you navigate it, and as we get older, what does that look like when we bring our life experience to that? So it was really interesting to have those conversations with women and to be able to work alongside of them. It's really been a privilege.
So in this book, we're sharing these beautiful stories. Thank you for that. And we're also going to be sharing a practical tool with you all. Carla, would you give us a little hint about what you're teaching in this book?
Sure. So I use the technique both personally and professionally of the both and. So, for example, I can have an illness and I can make goals that are around that. I can really feel fear of getting a diagnosis and still find joy and gratitude with those that are surrounding me. So, it's the ability of looking at what is possible in addition to what's going on at the time.
So I've dabbled with the both and to give, let's say somebody here, a listener, hasn't heard about what you're talking about. Can you compare it to the but just for a second so they understand?
Yeah, for me, but and even however, which for me is just a fancy but, everything that you say, yes, I'm really excited about doing this, but I'm a little nervous. For me, the I'm a little nervous takes over. It's the dominant part of it. For me, both and is allowing both to exist and to be able to navigate through. So it's not an either or, it's a both and. And but kind of removes some of that possibility. And frankly, at least when I say it, it can kind of keep me stuck in that loop of, yeah, this isn't going well, or I'm really worried. When I look at both and, I can still feel that. It's not about negating those feelings or allowing them to just sit there. It's being with it and then the ability to move forward. So for me, it's just a gentle way to give grace of what is and then working toward possibility of what could be.
I love that. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about the however. Can you go back to that for half a second? That's kind of what, halfway?
Well, it is for me, right? It just sounds like it's not as abrupt as but. Well, I really, really want to do this goal. However, I've just been, thinking about how it's not going to work. So for me, it's not as abrupt as but it's still kind of keeping me stuck in that loop of all the things that could go wrong rather than, well, yeah, I'm going to acknowledge that. I may have some fear, I may have some trepidation. It's going into the unknown, which is uncomfortable. And what is my vision? What is my support system? What is the information that I'm going to go through? And so, however, kind of for me, sticks in that little loop and doesn't allow for much conversation or movement forward.
Oh, I love this. This is ninja moves of awareness, you guys. When you can get ninja moves of awareness of your mindset, your life can change in a blink. Carla, thank you so much for being here and for starting this off so awesomely. This topic turns me on. I think that all of you are dropping golden nuggets of awareness in these chapters. And for this interview today, keep listening, y'all, because they're going to come. Pay attention. Get your pen and your notebook out. Gail, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Good morning. I wrote chapter 9, and the title is 5 Keys to Mastering Change. And boy, I'm an ideal person to follow Carla, because those 5 keys that I talk about are all about the language you use to propel yourself through the change process. And this work came to me because I had a big significant change in my life due to a health condition. And I didn't know whether life was going to get better or worse from that critical point. And I was looking at what's ahead, what am I leaving behind? And I found myself stuck. And I had great help that told me, if you say it differently, you'll see it differently. And so that is what I began to know and understand. And that's the tool that I offer, which is the change talk. Five ways that you frame your talk, your internal, your self-talk, and what you tell others about what's happening in your life that make the change process, whether it comes by choice or by chance, to make it more successful.
This is such a powerful tool, and you're right, what a great follow. And it's like that when I get you all together, it's like you weave in with each other so amazingly. So yes, the self-talk, I think, again, going back to the word awareness, and you're talking about being able to use a tool that will manifest a life. And I'll just leave it there. What else do you want to say about that importance? I want people to wake up to this. This is important.
Well, just that we have so much coming at us from outside that limits us and restricts us and confines us and diminishes us. It makes it all the more important that the voice we have inside is powerful and strong and confident and sure and limitless in possibility.
There's something here that is important, and I want people to really know that you're not alone if you're feeling this way. But when you actively choose to think and speak and write in ways that are nourishing, that are moving you forward in a direction, sometimes it is your very inner circle who will be what you said, the one that negates it or comes in at you with the negativity or whatever. And I know that personally I have felt like, whoa, guys, but I've also learned that a boundary, an immediate one, is so important. No, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to continue to do it my way. But that is so hard sometimes, right? When you first start to do it. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
It absolutely is. And the thing that helps me with that is to receive those naysayers with gratitude for their concern for my well-being, and not but and I'm doing it this way, or I choose to see it this way.
Yes.
But those naysayers generally are coming from either their own fear of their own change or their concern for my well-being when change is a risk. So I just accept the concern with gratitude and move into the perspective that serves me.
And that is why you and all you ladies are a badass in my book, because you're taking responsibility, right, for these things. Gail, thank you so much for being here. Mary Perry, I thought you were like, ooh, let me add to that. I didn't know if you were about to do that or not, but tell us about your chapter.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reverend Mary Perry. My chapter is chapter 10, and it's called Trusting Spirit, Amplifying Business Growth Through Angel Connections. Why I wanted to write this chapter was because I feel like for all of us, and it goes along with what Gail was talking and what Carla was talking about, is about changing who we are from the inside out. And as we do that, sometimes that's really difficult to do. However, I found it much easier when I received angel guidance, when I was able to tap into my inner wisdom by trusting what my guides and the way things happened for me was just incredible. I mean, there were so many times that something was just placed like on a golden platter for me, which was awesome. And without listening and being able to trust that guidance, I wouldn't be here today with you all. And so I think it's important that everybody that listens to this call knows that they can do this. They can tap into their inner wisdom. It just takes a desire and a want to work on what you feel is important for you. We all go about it in different ways, but basically that's what Gail and Carla were talking about, was that inner wisdom. And so I think it's really important book, not just for spiritual entrepreneurs, but for everybody in life. I don't think it's limited to just people who are in business. And so I don't know what else to say, but I love writing my chapter in this book. This was really important for me to put out there.
Listen, not everybody has the golden platter moments. So I want you to talk about when you're in the opposite, how to flip. How did you begin the process of moving toward that?
So for me, they were, it was talking to my dad after he died is what started everything. However, then this passion came in and said, I want more. I want to uncover. I want to heal from my past because my childhood years were not very well. And so I just started to follow breadcrumbs and what I call like going to Barnes and Noble, and this book would fall out about angels. And I started reading. And then a friend would say, oh, we have a class over here. Do you want to take? Yeah. So it was just feeding myself the information and then learning discernment. Some of it was for me at that time, and some of it wasn't. And, part of my tool is helping people to really get into the mindset where they can find stillness and hear what your guidance is saying. And I think that's the most important thing about what I do.
Discernment is a word of awareness that I'm in love with, because that's a ninja word for me. It's like, when you get good at the discernment inside of you, it doesn't take you very long to move in a direction because it feels good for you. You trust that, and that takes practice, right?
It does, absolutely. Yeah. Just step by step, piece by piece. Yeah.
Mary, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Let's hear about Melissa's chapter. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay, so I am chapter 17, and I titled it Filling Your Well. And I wrote this chapter because I am an artist. I've been an artist my whole life. So when I meet people and inevitably that comes up, people go, oh, wow. And I think that there is a great appreciation for artists, or a respect for artists, because people assume that they don't have creativity within them. They don't have the ability to create beauty. And I've learned over the past few years, because I have been teaching classes on it and written some other books, that it's important to me to help people find that place within themselves where they can both appreciate beauty in a more awareness is such a great word. I use it a lot, but it's important that they can appreciate the beauty around them, but they can also create their own beauty. And I like to find ways to help people to inspire themselves because, let's face it, it's difficult times. This world can be dark sometimes, and there are a lot of pressures and outside news, as one of you mentioned, coming at us all the time. And I think that if we don't pull ourselves away from that at times to bring our own light and inspiration into our world, we could go down with the ship too. I could easily, as a very emotional, sensitive person. And I know that the people who are drawn to reading this book are probably the same, emotional and sensitive. So for me, I tried to find ways in the chapter to open people's eyes and ears to what around them might help brighten their world and what might bring them their own forms of inspiration, because not everybody is going to be a writer or a painter or a musician, but there are so many other ways to bring in creativity, and there are so many other ways to appreciate beauty. And even just recently, someone came to one of my workshops and she's been painting trees all of her life. And I had her go outside and look at a tree for 5 minutes and come in and paint it. And she said, I've been painting trees she was blown away. She said, I've never really stopped and looked at one. So awareness, once again, and you'll have to stop me. I could talk a long time, but I'm passionate about my theme and my subject because I do like to brighten people's worlds. So I'll stop there. And
I love what you said about the tree. I remember an exercise in an art workshop where the challenge was to draw it. It happened to be our hand as slow as possible. And it's kind of like you're making me think of it, because when you really slow down to look at the tree, the miracle of life is right in front of you and you can be overcome with awe. This is no small potatoes thing, right? What else do you want to say about that? Yeah.
About which part?
Oh, just the slowing down in terms of seeing what's in front of you.
Oh my gosh, don't get me going on that. One of the big things that I talk about in my classes, they are a combination of art and spirit. So I call them art and spirit workshops and retreats. But one of the key points for me is going to the still point, because in our culture, we are not encouraged to just be, we're encouraged to do. But when we slow down and just be, we can open up to receive, and that's another word, receive. There's the right brain, the left brain, and as an artist, I spend a lot of time in my right brain, which is the receptive part. So when I slow down, and every day I come into the world very slowly, it's kind of a passion and a rule of mine, because I'm bridging the unconscious dream world into my regular world, because in between there is the still point, excuse me, and that point of awareness and reception. So slowing down, once again, it's not something we're encouraged to do, but so valuable.
Definitely. Oh my goodness. I love that you're talking about that place when you're first waking. Listeners, drink in all of the amazing ideas and awareness that you've already heard from these 4 expert authors. Ladies, thanks not just for saying yes to this project, but for really taking the challenge I gave you to give us an authentic, real story that helps us get to know you better and was personal. You all did that so beautifully, but also then stepping up as a master teacher that you all are. These books have practical tools that you readers can follow and have an experience with that could be life-changing in one chapter. So I get very passionate about sharing the messages and these books with you all. Gail, what does it mean to you to be an on-purpose woman?
What it means to me is to live fully into what I was made to be. I believe that all of us have a spark of the divine placed in us as we're created. And our life task is to bring that spark into being so it unites with everybody else's spark to make that one great truth, which is love. So being on purpose is finding my spark and expressing it and bringing it into being so that I can unite with yours, and together we can be love.
I love how you started that question off. All right, Mary Perry, good luck following that one, but I know you can. So what does it mean to you to be an on-purpose woman in your life, in your business? What is it for you?
It's living my passion, plain and simple. When people ask me what's fun for me, my answer is always angels. What is my passion? Angels. Connecting with them, being with them, but not just the angels. It's about being loved. So Gail, I agree wholeheartedly with that. In my chapter, I talk about an experience I had where I was with Master Jesus, and he told me my purpose was to teach others to love. And now let me tell you, that shifted the entirety of my business and who I was. And I ask every day to walk in love, to be loved, to share love with everybody.
Powerful. Ooh, ladies, powerful so far. Okay, Melissa, how about you? What does it mean to you to live on purpose?
I do. I have to ditto what Gail said. That was so beautifully said. But let's see, what I could add is I think what I talked about before by having an awareness of where I am in any given moment and taking it from there. So if I go inside and I am aware of even as something as mundane as what do I want to do with this day, then I will sit down and create my day on purpose. You know, I have my lists and I have my priorities. And I do try also to keep in mind the big picture. You know, why am I here? And what do I have to offer as a divine being, as Gail put it? And to keep even my daily list in alignment with my my purpose for being on the planet.
I love it. It can be an every morning task. It's a good idea for sure. Carla, how about you? What does it mean to you to be an on-purpose woman?
So I think of authenticity. When I'm going through a difficult time, it just is a place where I may need resources, and then to be there for those that may be going through something where I can be the resource. So when I look at on purpose women, and being one, it's to be that resource, to be that listening ear for someone that just needs an ear, to pull someone forward if they feel like they just need additional help or encouragement, and then to cheer on those that go ahead of me, you know, the examples of people that are ahead of me that are showing me what can be done. And then when I'm going through a tough time, to say it, and when I'm enjoy, to say that as well. You know, I hate to overuse that word both end. It's not everything is easy, and challenges are difficult. And I think at times we can gloss over just how difficult it is to go through a challenge and what may be necessary. And so that's where I go to. It's just authenticity for being an on-purpose woman.
Yes, I love that addition. I want to add mine. You know, being on purpose is an awareness practice for me. You all have talked about this. an alignment practice, an awareness of my alignment in any moment, all through the day. And when I falter, getting those ninja moves going back again, to come back quickly to the alignment. Alignment is joy for me. There is a palpable body feeling of that for me. So I can discern, we've used all these words so far, whether or not this feeling is something I want to go for in that moment or not. And that process and practice has just been life-changing, and it allows me to choose in any moment that alignment, which I think is pretty powerful. It's powerful for a life, and it is very powerful for a business. And that's why we're all here talking about spiritual entrepreneurship and how those things can go together in ways maybe you haven't even imagined they could, right? This is cool stuff. All right, Mary Perry, I got the next one for you. So we're talking about this awareness practice, and I'm a little bit of an awareness geek, so I'm going to keep going with it. Being that spiritual entrepreneur, everybody has a way that they practice connecting. You've talked a lot about your angel connections today, so that is, it wouldn't be a surprise to me if that was your answer. But everyone here and everyone in the world's practice is a little bit different. How do you connect? Give us a practical tidbit here from a how-to, like if somebody just isn't practiced in connecting, how would you help them?
So first of all, for me, I would help them hone into what angels they work with. So, through meditation, we would bring some of the angels in, see if they connect with them, see if that feels good for them. Every morning I sit and I have a ritual where I light my candles, I get quiet, and I call in different angels: Michael, Raphael, Ariel, Uriel, Gabriel, all of them. I sit and I mentally call them in by invoking, dear Archangel Michael, please be with me this day. Offer me protection, light, truth. Surround me with your blue cloak. Walk by my right side all day, every day. I trust that, and so as you build that trust with these beings, they come to help you no matter where you are. So in that moment, in the start of the day, I open and I ask. Now, sometimes I don't actually sit in meditation here in the office, but if I'm like having to get out early or something, I might be taking a shower. Guess what? In my mind's eye, in that shower time, I am talking to the angels and calling them in. So that's a meditative step for me that sometimes I don't have the time to sit, but yet can still do. And then all day, I ask questions. So, having that inquiring mind, can you help me with this? Can you give me an answer? Can you make sure I get a parking space easily? Make sure the traffic parks are parked so I get where I need to go on time. Stuff like that. I call on them all the time. It's not just about those times when you're on your knees and desperate for help. It's about living every day filled with that light and consciously calling them in so that you have their help no matter where you are in your life during the day.
I love it. I love your explanation. It's going to give people different ideas about how to do this. And also, Mary just like obliterated all your all's excuses, listeners. Like, because you can do these things anywhere. This does not mean you got to sit on a pillow with your legs crossed and chant Om while you're calling in no, you can do it in your car. You can do it in the shower. Yeah.
The car is the perfect place. I don't listen to music most of the time. I have conversations, and I actually talk out loud when I'm by myself in the car. Nobody knows. They could be thinking you're talking on the phone, whatever. Yeah.
Melissa, help us with your way. How do you connect? Give the listeners an idea of a practical way to do it. These are simple, but sometimes just not spoken out loud.
How do I connect with spirit? Or connect?
We'll go for a yes. Yeah, your practice of awareness as a spiritual entrepreneur can look so many different ways. What's
Uh,
one way that yours looks?
it's being present. It took me a long time, actually, as an individual, to learn about grounding and being present. So, and I think I would take it back to meditation. Having a meditation practice, because that, for me, in my experience, is the biggest tool for becoming aware. So in any given moment for me, if I find myself straying, I have to bring myself back to present. So is that a connection with spirit? Maybe sometimes, but it's also a connection with the core of my being. And is the core of my being spirit? Ideally, we are connected to spirit, and spirit is in us and of us. So that's a roundabout answer to your question. But I think as a tool, meditation for me has been really important.
I think that's a perfect answer. I think also the M word scares people. So what I want to add to Melissa's idea is that that doesn't have to look a particular way. You can connect by taking one big deep breath right this moment, and you're connected. You're in your body a little bit more, which some days is more challenging than others. Come back. Melissa said it. Come back in. Check in. Where are you? Are you thinking all day and you forgot you had a body from here down? Just come back in, right? Take a breath. Carla, how about you? Give us another idea of a connection or awareness practice that you do.
Yeah, you said it beautifully. And actually, everyone's kind of mirrored it. It is the breath. And as you mentioned, Laura, meditation, a lot of people assume that it's sitting in a quiet space for 20 minutes. Actually, people that I work with and surrounded with, even other entrepreneurs, I don't have time to do that. And for me, the breath is always with you. And where we notice we're not breathing is when we seem to be in a state of worry or fear or anxiety or busyness, actually, too. So to take a deep breath and to focus on the breath means that I am present. It means that I am grounded, whether I'm outside or in an elevator. And by doing that, you kind of call in the space to do then what you want to do rather than to be reactive. So, and someone else mentioned, human beings. We are very good at being human beings and human doings. It's the balance of the two that I think comes from breath.
I love talking about breath work because it always makes me breathe more in the interviews. I'm like, yes, let's keep talking about it. But I know all the listeners too. They took a deep breath with us just now, so that's fantastic. Gail, how about you on this question? What do you want to add?
Well, so I start each day with a gratitude practice before I get out of bed. Is just being grateful for life and for whatever. And then I do an intention practice. And in that practice, I say 3 ways I want to feel during the day. So 3 emotions that I want to embrace and delegate. 3 things I want to do or accomplish during the day. And 3 ways in which I will serve during the day. And so that's my intention practice. And that incorporates both the being and the doing. And so, and then at night, I kind of do that, close the loop. How did I do? Was I where I wanted to be? Did my day align with the intention I set for it?
Yes, more powerful tools there. Thank you. Gratitude is something we could breathe in right this moment. To be together today, all 5 of us just talking about these beautiful topics and sharing this beautiful energy together. And even if you all are having a bad day and you happened upon this interview, it only takes a moment of just being grateful to come upon the interview and to have your energy shifted even for a few minutes, right? So wherever you are, whatever is happening, there's a choice you can make to move into gratitude. One of my favorite quotes is that fear and gratitude can't exist at the same time. And so fear, anxiety, worry, doubt, we could fill that blank in with lots of different things. And so gratitude can be a go-to. There's one other little thing about this that I want to mention, because sometimes you're having such a bad day that gratitude isn't possible. So what I would say to you on that day is just, how about go to neutral? How about just clear your mind, period? Just get that teeter-totter to come neutral for yourself, so that, because some people say that I can't jump to gratitude today. Sorry, Laura, and I got you, I get it. So what about shifting with that deep breath, just to clear your mind and be here with whatever you're feeling, fully feel it and allow it and honor it, and then come into a neutral space. I like to talk about that a lot, because we all talk about very happy, very positive, very amazing, high vibe things all the time. And sometimes it just isn't that kind of day, All right. Last question for all of you. It's another favorite question of mine, Melissa. To me, community has been the difference between success and failure for me in my life, in my business especially. Tell me about your community and what that's meant for you in your life and business.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I have been focused on that lately, because all of my very close friends, most of them, let's say most, in my particular area geographically where I live, moved away within the past few years. And it's made me very sad. I have a huge community across not huge, that's not true, because when you hone it down, who is really in your inner circle, your inner circle. And those are the people that I usually come to depend on in times of need. Anyway, community is so important to me. And, having had the last two people move away, it really hit me hard. So I actually set my intention, and in my meditations have asked to create and bring in new community that live close by, because as we age, I think we do need that. And I don't know how I came across some ad, maybe it was on Nextdoor or something like that, for an over 50 coffee group. And I'm busy, I work for myself. As you know, as an entrepreneur, you're working all the time. I'm like, do I have time to do this at 2 o'clock on a Monday? Yes, I'm going. And I've met a really wonderful group of women to form new community. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
I love that. I love the way that you answered that. Yes, it is. It's so important. And thank you for being the person to model really positive action when something has changed. It's interesting. We started this interview talking about change and how we're navigating that. And here, you've been through a big change that is definitely a life-changing change in terms of your inner circle and community. I love that. It is never too late to make a best friend. Never too late to make a best friend, to build a community around you, all the things. Carlo, how about you on this one? What has community meant to you?
Yeah, as Melissa just very eloquently said, I look at community in different ways. I have my business community of people that I can rely on for information and support. And then I have my social community. I just recently moved from one area where I grew up my whole life to a place where I knew no one. And so to forge through and kind of push through discomfort of like, what is that going to look like? Setting the intention of who I'm going to meet and how I'm going to participate, not what I can get from community, what I can bring to community. And then also, with my work, knowing how important feeling connected is to our health and well-being has been essential for me to kind of push through and come up with those action steps for myself to kind of walk the walk, if you will.
You just dropped a golden nugget. I'm going to pause on it. She asked, what can I bring? She wasn't like, oh, what can I get from this new community? She flipped it just now. That's a ninja move of awareness, in case you all are wondering what I define as the ninja moves. It's like, no, like when I step in with my love and light and what I can bring as this unique, awesome individual, you're gonna instantly attract a community from that, right? So that was such a good one, Carla. Thank you. Gail, how about you? What has this meant for you in terms of community?
Oh, so much. I live in a town 1,000 miles away from the rest of my family. My siblings are all in Illinois, and I'm here. And I have created and been part of a network in the social service nonprofit community, in my church community, and in the women's community and women's business networking community here. And those people have seen me through relationship breakups, terrible health crises, and dark nights of the soul. And I'm very close with my sisters and my brother. But sometimes, as Mary said so well, and Melissa, you know, it's the people right next to you, the people in your own town, that there's nothing like having somebody you can see face to face. I also need to be very grateful for the Zoom community, because it certainly saw me through the pandemic. And I trust many of the rest of us as well.
Thank you for mentioning that. It's been a life-changing experience. Thank you, Zoom, to be able to reach out to author communities all over the world for me. So I would second that with a big exclamation point. I think businesses were changed from the opportunities, and that's been pretty amazing. Mary Perry, you are going to close out the show today with this one. What I know that you and I and all of us here have been a part of Ginny's community. That's been one big community that we've been in. But Mary, what else has this meant to you in terms of your own community?
So before the pandemic, I was out a lot in community, working in different shops, and I was doing a lot of different things. And then the pandemic came and it shut everything down. And I went, oh, how do I do business now? And through that, I met Laura. And through Laura and the authors, being an author in some of her books, the community has just really gotten so big for me. It's brought me beautiful resources, friends, safe space, as well as Ginny's On Purpose networking community. It's been amazing. In fact, my partner said to me the other day that he's envious because the men don't have as good an opportunity to join community, and he wants that. And I include him when I can, but I've made so many good friends, and I love getting out to meet people. So last year I started back in doing psychic fairs, and I'm about to start the fall here not this weekend, but the following weekend with a 2-day show in York. And I just love connecting with people. I love talking with them. I love what I can offer, and that is the angels hugs. I call what with my voice, what I do is hug people with their angels. And I want to do that whether it's friends, family, or strangers. So community is really important.
Thank you so much, all of you. Reverend Mary Perry, Dr. Carla Johnston, Melissa Harris, Gail Dixon, thank you all so much for what you do in the world. And thank you for being here today to share it with everyone. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
So listeners, please remember that you are invited to join our book launch party Friday, August 11th at 11 a.m. Eastern. The On Purpose Woman authors will all be there to celebrate and drop their inspiration for you. I've got information down below. If something one of these authors said to you today is making you curious, giving you some goosebumps, or maybe you need some support, This is way more than a book. This is a very generous community of experts who are waiting for you to reach out. Drop down into the show notes. I have everybody hooked up with their websites. Go explore. See the awesomeness that they are all up to. They are there for you. Reach out. That's all you have to do. And if you happen to be listening to the interview anytime after that August 11th date, well, that means the book is ready on Amazon and you can go grab your beautiful copy. And lastly today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone. Bye, ladies.